I do now. A few thank yous and so forth that we'd like to say. Unfortunately, Steph would be the first to say my memory is a little bit lacking in many areas, and we worked out a very detailed checklist this day of all the things that I had to remember and I had to bring. I've got two things. One were my cufflinks. So I'm actually wearing a pair of cufflinks which are courtesy of a kind stranger who works for Don Manny. I have no idea how I'm getting back to him. But the other thing was my speech. So if I start to ramble, I apologise. First of all, there's some thank yous I'd like to make. Obviously, my tremendous sisters, Rachel and Maddie, who played during the ceremony, who really... A few things about that since, and I'd just like to make clear that all the musical talent in our family is actually concentrated in me. There will be no additional from us. The other people I'd like to thank from the ceremony are, of course, Di, who did a fantastic job in our readers, Gwenny and Kirsty, who is over there somewhere. It was really quite a touching ceremony, and we appreciate it greatly, so thank you for that. I also have to make a special mention to the fabulous bridesmaids, Sally and Lizzie. And my best man, the other people we would just like to make mention to is, of course, all of you, thank you so much for coming and being part of this. The surroundings that we're in are absolutely beautiful, but one of the problems that we had when we were choosing a venue was that we couldn't find anywhere, we couldn't find many places that were actually big enough to hold all of the people who wanted to come, which is a pretty special position to be in. So thank you all for coming. But there are a few people I'd like to mention by name who've travelled a particular journey. My brother Pete, of course, all the way over from China. Somewhere over in that direction, Freddie and Olivier who come over from Belgium. My very good friend Sandra and Nico who come over from Amsterdam today. Actually, a couple of people for whom coming here has been a little bit more than just getting on a train or a plane. It's been, you could call it a personal odyssey for them. And I'm referring to Steph's uni friends, Big Ed and Jamie, for whom apparently this is their first time out of Fulham since I hope you get enough northern stereotypes while you're up here. Let's try for breakfast. On a more personal note, there are obviously some people I'd like to mention. And the first people are Steph's family, Diane and Johnny, Kev, of course, and Kev's wonderful girlfriend, Laura. Now, I'm not actually going to talk about Kev too much because it became obvious to me within 5 minutes of meeting him that he'd quite happily sell me his sister for a pair of shoes. So, a little bit more about Diane and Johnny. Not everybody will be aware that I've actually known Diane for a lot longer than I've known Steph. I've known Diane now for over 20 years. And so I can only imagine that it was a bit of a surprise to her when Steph told her that she and I were dating. So when the time came for us to be formally introduced as me to Diane and Johnny as Steph's partner, then I was uncharacteristically nervous. Which was made slightly worse by the fact that I somehow got lost in the centre of Manchester and was an hour late for the dinner. But when I arrived, Diane and Johnny, they went to great lengths to make me feel at home and make me feel relaxed, and it was really lovely. And I was very touched before the end of the main course even, when I'd actually begun to play on Chinese name. For those of you who don't know, the Chinese often, when they come over to the UK, they have a tradition that they give their children an English name and a Chinese name. So for me to be given my own Chinese name, I thought it was quite special. And my Chinese name was Huijie. I was quite happy with this, and throughout the meal, it was used regularly. You want to have some more rice, Huijie? Have you tried the duck, Huijie? Come on, Huijie, you can finish the last roast pork bun. Now, it was some months before Steph confessed to me that Huijie is actually Cantonese for fat boy. Thank you for accepting me every single time. Well, on a serious note, actually, I have to say that the warmth and the openness with which Diane and Johnny have accepted me into the family has been very, very touching, very special. I'm very proud to have you as my parents-in-law, and I'll do everything I can to make you proud to have me as your son-in-law. So, having dealt with Steph's family, I have to talk about my own, of course. I'm lucky that I come from a big family with 3 sisters, 1 brother. But actually, the thing that hangs us all together is my mum. Now, I know you're probably thinking that why would you want to give a public expression of thanks to the person who gave you that name? but actually, my mum actually disavows any responsibility for this. I was slightly sceptical myself, but actually I had the proof of this when I was young. When I was a boy playing out around the streets of Bolton where we grew up. So embarrassed was my mum of my name, was she wouldn't actually use it to call me in from playing. She would just lean out the back door and shout, "Boy!" Now the only problem is, with my mum's Glaswegian accent, I actually thought she was saying boil. It's quite difficult to express the effect on a young man's self-esteem. Think that his own mother's pet name is oil. but in truth, a lot of the person I am is down to my mum. We've had our fair share of traumas and crises in our family, and my mum's always dealt with strength and with an approach to family that is, for me, is very admirable. And I do attempt to emulate her in some way. The evidence of today suggests that Steph quite likes the person that I've become. so all I can say, Mum, is thank you for it. A few words about my best man, Bernie and Pete. We're looking slightly concerned. I was born with 3 sisters, and between the ages of 1 and 9, and it's fair to say I was tortured to some degree. But by the time I reached my teens, I'd gained 2 brothers, Pete and Bernie. The best guys in the world. I'm honoured to have them standing there with me today. So I just want to say thank you to you both for that. And also, just in case you're getting any clever ideas about your own speeches, I know some stuff as well. And so finally, I must turn to Steph. My wife. I think it's fair to say, and we can all agree that I'm punching a little bit above my weight here. But no, it's okay, Steph reminds me of But I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, no, you're a short house, chubby, 4 eyes, Lego head, called Norman. How did you do it? Well, I'd like to say that it's a combination of my profound intellect, my rakier wits, and of course my local sexuality. Laughed at us a little bit. But in truth, actually, I realised that it was a done deal once Steph found out I could cook. And really, that's the foundation of our relationship. The tables that you're on are all named after particular favourite restaurants of ours. And we have tried to place people according to the style of restaurants. So, in the corner, for example, that's a bit sophisticated, but exclusive. The building, wherever you are, that's a restaurant in Marrakesh. It's a French colonial restaurant. Very, very nice. So the KFC table, there's no really easy way to say this. You're cheap. You're a little bit greasy. But we keep coming back. But back to Steph. Actually, food, as I mentioned, it has been a bit of a staple of our relationship. But it does cause problems, as those of you that have known me for a long time will know I'm slightly better upholstered than I used to be. And this really came to a head about 12 months ago, when we finished a meal that I prepared, and I relaxed back on the sofa. And it's fair to say that my shirt wasn't fitting me as comfortably as and I saw Steph notice this. And I caught her eye, just for a split second. And as I looked into her eye, I could see exactly what she was thinking. And what she was thinking was this: it was, Norm, I love you. And I will always love you, no matter what. But I know you're not happy like that. I know that it hurts you that you can't participate in sports the way you used to. I know that sometimes you look in the mirror and you wish you were the man you used to be. And as I looked deeper into her eyes, I saw her say to me, she said, Norm, let me help you. Let me be your crutch. Let me help you become the man that you want to be. Let me be your rock. And it is a very special thing to be so connected to somebody that you can look into their eyes and read all of that from a single look. And I'm very glad that I was able to read all of that from a single look. Because the actual words that came out of her mouth were, come on, Norm, nobody wants to marry a fatty. I tried to think, when I was deciding what I wanted to talk about today, I tried to think about the things that I love about Steph. And it's not easy, not because there aren't any, but just because it's quite difficult to put them into words. But I'll try. Steph is fun, and she is funny. She is intelligent and articulate. She challenges me every single day in all sorts of ways, not all the way related. She makes me a better person, I think, just by being around her. I love her very much. I'm very lucky at that. Thank you.